In this video, I'm going to talk about finding the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So we have just started our fourth unit on the equation of a line. We just talked about finding the slope. So each line, every line has a unique equation that can be translated to a graph and a table. And there are three different forms for writing the equation of the line. These are the three forms: slope, intercept, standard, and point slope form. And we're going to focus on the first one today. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Now, I've said this before, mathematicians are not very creative when it comes to naming things, which is helpful, right? Because it helps you remember like what things are. So like the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and it's called that because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So if you're like, wait, what else? How does that go? Like slope-intercept form? Well, it's just the form where the slope and the y-intercept are sticking right out at you. So m is the slope or rate of change, which we just looked at, and b is the y-intercept. It's the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So you need both of those values or numbers to be able to write your equation of a line. Okay, when you're writing your equation, those are the only two numbers you'll be plugging in. The y and the x will just stay y and the x. So in our first example, I have it drawn on the whiteboard here. Example A. So your slope, like we just talked about, you can find the slope by taking 2 points on the line and counting the rise over the run. So here's my 2 points. So I'm rising, I'm going up 2, I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now when you move to the left, when you're in the coordinate plane, it's a negative move. So 2 over negative 6, this reduces to negative 1/3. That's my slope. Okay? Now the y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So that's just this point right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y-intercept, or b, equals 4. So if I put it all together, y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4. That's my equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Okay? So now I'm just going to do my other problems on the whiteboard. I just think it's a little bit easier to see. So in example B, they said the slope is negative 4, and the y-intercept, they gave us the coordinate point, 0, 3. Okay? So when I'm filling in my equation, I have negative 4x, but what number am I putting in for b? Now, here's the thing. If I go back to my graph, and they said the y-intercept is 0, 3. They just gave us that point. They gave us the y-intercept. So there's nothing I have to do to solve for it. You just have to realize this point, which is 3, is what is going to go in for, the b. Oh, I just wrote b. It's not what I wanted to write. I'm just taking the 3, okay? So even though they gave us 0, 3, I'm just taking the 3, and that goes in for the y-intercept, okay? So that's a pretty easy problem because they gave us all the information. We didn't have to do any algebra to solve for it. Example C, slope equals 1/2, and the line passes through the point 4, negative 7. Okay, so they gave us the slope. Obviously, we still need to find the y-intercept, which they didn't give us here because this is just a random point. Your x has to be 0 for this point to be the y-intercept. So what I'm going to do is just take this point. This is a point on the line. I'm going to plug it into my equation to solve for b. Okay, so our equation is y equals mx plus b. So instead of y, I'm going to write negative 7. I have the slope of 1/2. My x is 4. And I'm solving for the b. So I've plugged in everything except for b, and now I can just solve. 1/2 times 4 is 2. Negative 7 equals 2 plus b. Now to get b alone, I have to subtract 2 from both sides to move it over, and I get negative 9 equals b. So we're almost done. Just don't forget to to actually write out your equation of the line. Y equals 1/2 x minus 9. So when you go to actually write your equation on the line, I'm not plugging in the 4 and the -7. I'm just writing my y and my x. I just used that point to solve for b. Okay? All right, let's do our last example. Example D. Now this is on page 7. I guess I didn't mention the page numbers before. So example D says the equation of the line, find the equation of the line that passes through 12, 7, and 10, -1. Okay, now in this problem, they did not give us the slope or the y-intercept, so we have to do the work for both of them, which is fine. We know the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're gonna plug in our points. Subtract the y's on top, subtract the x's on the bottom. So I've got 7 minus a -1 over 12 minus 10. So this gives me 7 plus 1, or 8, over 2, which equals 4. So this is my slope. Okay? So we have our slope of m equals 4. Now we have to solve for the y-intercept, so I'm going to plug everything in again, like we did in the last problem. Now either point here would work, so it doesn't matter if you choose to plug in 12 and 7 for x and y, or 10 and -1. I'm going to choose the 12 and 7. So we have 7 equals, that's my y, equals 4 times 12 plus b, right? So this is just plugging everything into mx, y equals mx plus b. So we had our y, we plugged in our slope, plugged in our x, and this is what we're solving for. So now we just do the math. 4 times 12 is 48 plus b. We subtract 48 from both sides to get the b alone, and you end up with -41 equals b. So don't forget to put it all together. Y equals 4x minus 41. That is our final answer. All right, so those are pretty much the different ways that your information could be given to you to get the equation of a line. So you will always need to find the slope and the y-intercept to be able to write your equation of the line in slope-intercept form. All right, thanks for watching.